Sri Lanka is currently engaged in an IMF program following its economic crisis that arose just around 2 years ago, and since then Sri Lanka's bailout program has been subject to several reviews, and the next review is expected in the coming weeks. Good morning. This is the Breakfast Rundown with me, Zulfick Farzan, where we bring you the stories that matter to you the most. Headlines that are important to our everyday lives. Well, the Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund is expected to meet in the coming weeks to decide on Sri Lanka's next review. Now, this was confirmed by the IMF spokesperson Julie Kozak during a media briefing held last evening in Washington, D.C.
Just stepping back for a minute, on April 25th, IMF staff and the Sri Lankan authorities reached staff-level agreement on the fourth review of Sri Lanka's program under the EFF. And once the review is approved by our executive board, Sri Lanka will have access to about $344 million US in financing. Completion of the review is subject to approval by the executive board, and we expect that board meeting to take place in the coming weeks. The board meeting, the precise timing of the board meeting is contingent on two things. The first is implementation of prior actions, and the main prior actions are relating to restoring electricity cost recovery pricing and ensuring proper function of the automatic electricity price adjustment mechanism. And the second contingency is completion of the financing assurances review, which will focus on confirming multilateral partners' committed financing contributions to Sri Lanka and whether adequate progress has been made in debt restructuring. So, in a nutshell, completion of the review is subject to approval by the executive board. We expect the board meeting to take place in the coming weeks, and it's contingent on the two matters that I just mentioned.
Well, as global markets brace for the impact of the U.S. reciprocal tariffs, concerns are mounting over potential ripple effects on the world economy. Now, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, speaking to reporters yesterday evening, called for measured patience, emphasizing that it is still too early to implement a definite counter strategy.
Coming into play, it is projected that there will be a lot of uncertainty in the economy of the world. So, is there a counter plan designed from your side, from the central bank side, to tackle the effects?
No, I think it's too early, because now what we understand is there's a 90-day pause, and government is in the process of, for Sri Lanka, tariff negotiation. And also other countries also, we are seeing some announcement. For example, UK and US announced one package. And there was also announcement by the US administration. There was some easing of tensions against even China, go down to 30% from 145 something. So I think it's moving in the right direction. So we have to wait and see what would be the final kind of more certainty. That's, you are correct, there's uncertainty, but we see a bit of certainty that moving in the right direction. From the earlier, a lot of uncertainty and very high tariffs, and moving in the lower path. I think that's a positive. But still, we don't know exactly what would be the end game, that we have to wait and see. Especially for Sri Lanka as well as for the countries and for the global economy.
Now, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has confirmed that letters of credit amounting to approximately $450 million US have been opened for vehicle imports in recent months. Now, the announcement was made by Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe at the same press conference held last evening. Dr. Veerasinghe stated that approximately $200 million US worth of vehicles have already been imported under the current import arrangements. He noted that the total value of LCs opened so far indicates a significant increase in vehicle import activity, which is expected to continue over the next 3 months as well. Now, according to Dr. Vigas Singha, according to the import statistics, around $200 million worth of vehicles have already arrived. The total value of LCs open is about $450 million. Now, this process has been gradually increasing week by week, and they believe this amount has been opened in the past 5 months. Now, at the same time, one of the key contingencies in the IMF program is the electricity tariff adjustment. Now, public consultations on the proposed electricity tariff increase submitted by the Ceylon Electricity Board will commence today and continue at the provincial level until the 5th of June. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka announced that today's consultations for the Sabaragamuwa province will be held at the Ratnapura District Secretariat Auditorium. The session will run throughout the entire day. Communications Director of the Commission, Jayanath Hewat, said that additional details regarding the Sabaragamuwa province consultation can be obtained by calling the following number. That is 076 322 4610. The number once again, 076 322 4610. Now, if you are in the Sabaragamuwa province and you wish to have your say on this electricity tariff increase proposal, you can call that number. Now, the CEB has proposed a 18.3% increase in electricity tariffs. However, the board notes that this is 5.4% lower than the tariff rate implemented in January earlier this year. Now, Sri Lanka's Parliament is set to convene at 9:30 a.m. for the second reading on the Code of Criminal Procedure Amendment Bill today. Now, the Speaker will preside over the proceedings. The bill, which was recently approved by the Cabinet of Ministers, seeks to introduce key revisions to the existing Criminal Procedure Code. Now, at the same time, some news from the Miss World pageant that we have just received. Sri Lanka's Anandi Gunasekara has advanced to the top 5 from Asia in the head-to-head challenge at the 72nd Miss World. Now, stay with Newsfirst, as our social media platforms will have the developments from the 72nd Miss World and how Sri Lanka's Anandi is advancing slowly towards some of the main stages. Now, towards public security. The Ministry of Public Security has announced that investigations are underway to apprehend 20 high-profile members of crime syndicates currently hiding overseas. The operation is being carried out in collaboration with Interpol, which has already issued red notices for the suspects. Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala confirmed that the countries where these individuals are believed to be residing have been identified and diplomatic efforts are ongoing to facilitate their extradition to the country. Now, so far 11 members of crime networks have been successfully extradited to Sri Lanka and presented before local courts. These individuals are facing charges related to murder, drug trafficking and other serious offences. The Criminal Investigations Department and the Police Special Task Force are jointly conducting investigations and operations to apprehend both foreign-based and locally operating gang members. Sticking with public security, the Ministry of Public Security has instructed Sri Lanka Police to complete the establishment of public safety committees across the country by 20th June. Minister Ananda Vijaypala confirmed that Acting IGP, Attorney at Law Priyantha Viviyasuria, has already communicated this directive to all senior police officers. A circular outlining the formation of these committees was issued on April 8th, mandating the creation of 14,022 public safety committees covering every Grama Niladhari division in the country. Now, why are these public safety committees being introduced? They are to strengthen police-community relations, promote peace and security, combat crime and drug-related threats, and foster interfaith harmony. Each committee will include a designated police officer, and members will be appointed from among retired public servants, former police and military officers, and youth representatives. The term of service of committee members will be 3 years. The officer in charge of each police station will be responsible for reviewing the progress of these committees on a monthly basis, while assistant superintendents of police or ASPs will conduct bi-monthly reviews at the district level. Now moving on, after an 8-year hiatus, the Sri Lankan government has granted approval to recruit 27 assistant directors for the Department of Archaeology. The decision was made by the Public Service Recruitment Review Committee. The Director General of Archaeology, Professor Thusita Mendes, stated that the prolonged vacancy of these positions had severely impacted the department's ability to efficiently manage regional administrative functions and deliver essential services. In addition to these appointments, the department has also sought government approval to fill 7 director-level positions which remain vacant. Now, furthermore, the department has requested permission to recruit a substantial number of support staff, including 822 security officers, 305 archaeological assistants, and various executive grade positions. Now, the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court has granted approval to the Commercial Crimes Division of the CID to examine the bank accounts of 12 people, including Keheli Rambukwala, Rajitha Senaratne, and Dayasiri Jayasekara, over allegations of misappropriating funds from the President's Fund. The court order issued by Magistrate Nilupuli Lankapura allows the Commercial Crimes Division of the CID to access bank records as part of an ongoing investigation into claims that the accused submitted false information to obtain funds exceeding the approved limits. The Fort Magistrate who granted the request also issued an order to the relevant state banks, instructing it to provide the necessary information to the CID. The investigation, which targets 22 public representatives accused of irregularities in obtaining funds from the President's Fund, was initiated based on these allegations. A detailed report related to the case was submitted to the court on April 30th. These 22 individuals were selected for further investigation following an initial inquiry of 36 people, from which critical information regarding fund misuse was uncovered. Now, a very interesting story is developing in Sri Lanka and is also making headlines in the UK. Now, recently, a young British woman now is facing years locked in a Sri Lankan jail. That's a young British woman is going to be facing many years in a Sri Lankan jail after she was caught with £1.2 million worth of cannabis. Now, she has spoken to UK media and expressed her situation, and she's insisting that she was set up. Her name is Charlotte Lee May, and she's only 21 years old. She's from Coulston, South London, and she was arrested in the capital Colombo last week after police discovered 46 kilograms of cannabis. I beg your pardon, 46 kilograms of Kush, a synthetic strain of cannabis, in her suitcase. Now, Charlotte May Lee is a former cabin crew member, and she arrived in Sri Lanka on a flight from Bangkok when she was arrested at the Bandaranaike International Airport and was taken into custody. Now, according to the UK's Metro News website, she has complained about life in the Sri Lankan prison where she is being held on drug charges. Now, she is now being held in a small women's wing in Negombo prison, a city north of the capital, where she has complained about her current living conditions. Charlotte has added that inmates are giving sleeping tablets, and she is less than impressed with the washing facilities. She is also unhappy with the amount of recreation and the types of food that she has been given. She claims now that she has no idea how the drugs got into her bag. Now, despite not knowing how the Kush got there, she thinks she knows who planted them on her. Her arrest came within 24 hours of the detention of Bella May Cully in Georgia, who is alleged to have tried to smuggle 14 kilograms of cannabis. Now, both Charlotte May Lee and Bella May Cully flew from the same airport in Thailand after meeting an unknown man, and both are now facing long prison sentences if they are found guilty of acting as drug mules for organized crime gangs. Now, this is a very interesting story that's developing here in Sri Lanka. At the same time, over the past few days, Kush was seized at the BIA, along with several suspects also being apprehended, raising questions how these suspects are managing to get these drugs on board flights from various destinations that are coming to Sri Lanka. Well, that is up for the detectives and local authorities to investigate. Now, according to the Met Department, showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern and central provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts. Now, showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the Uva province and in Ampara, Batiklo and Polonnaruwa districts during the evening or at night. At the same time, the Met Department is also saying that fairly strong winds of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the Central Hills and in the northern, north central, northwestern and southern provinces, as well as in the Trincomalee district. And as usual on the Breakfast Rundown, we urge our viewers out there to exercise caution during a heavy downpour, especially when there is lightning, and to avoid these lightning related accidents. And with that, we bring an end to this week's edition of the Breakfast Rundown. Until I meet you again on Monday, have an amazing weekend ahead and take care and stay safe.